What's up guys, ATCG here, welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck of the Day, and today we're profiling a very old deck, but one that I think a lot of guys will appreciate, and it's Fabled. This is one deck that I've been trying out for the past couple months, but I couldn't find a build that would be competitive enough for me. But then I came up with the most basic idea anyone could come up with. It's basically the same thing that made Dark Worlds be relevant again. So I tried it out as a fun idea at first, but then the deck could actually win very consistently, and the deck was really good. So I took this to locals, and I actually managed to win once, and it's a very fun deck to play. It's like the Grand Magi deck, then go second with all the dangers, and you spam the field with a lot of monsters and OTK, because Fables work similarly to Dark Worlds. If they're discarded, you can special summon them, so you have easy ways to make use of the discard effects of the dangers. And this is where dangers become most powerful, is when their discards actually give you something back. So this is why this deck has synergy with it. It's not a synchro oriented Fabled deck like it used to be. I don't run any of the Fabled synchros. Maybe Raging would be a good addition to the deck, but I don't get to the point where I have 0 cards in my hand. But this is the deck that I come up with up until now, and this is the build that I've been enjoying the most. So let's begin. We have 2 Grimro. Grimro is basically the searcher of the deck. If you control a Fabled, you can discard her to add a Fabled monster. The only reason you don't want to run 3 of her is because if you draw too many early game and you don't already have discarded a Fabled with dangers, then you are risking discarding her, which will not give you any advantage because she doesn't have any discard effects like the other Fabled monsters. So that's why I think 2 is the perfect number. 1 Cruise. Cruise, when discarded, you special summon a level 4 lower Fable from your grave. Again, it's the same thing as Grimro. She does need a little bit of setup in order to be useful. She's not like a discard get that time effect if you don't have anything in the graveyard. So that's why I only run 1. She's searchable, and I search her with Grimro because I want to bring back Grimro because of Grimro's level, because she's level 4. And this is why I need to play 1 Cruise. Now for the Fables that do give you advantage immediately. 3 Ganassia. It special summons itself when discarded. Same thing, 3 Cerberus, special summon when discarded, and 3 Lurie, special summon when discarded. Lurie is level 1, which is more useful because you can get Link Rebo, and that's why you need to use Nightmare plays. Nightmares also give you advantage in this deck, because when discarded, you get back all your plays. 1 Chawa. Chawa is a searchable target with Grimbro that lets me unbrick my hand if I have a lot of Fablets without any dangers. You can discard another Fablet monster to special summon this card from your hand. The Fablet you discarded will most likely come back. And this also is level 1, which helps you go into your Link Rebo. And 1 Kushano. Kushano is a card you either want to see early or you never want to see it. While it's in the graveyard, you can discard a Fablet to add it back, so it's infinite discard fodder, because when you draw your Fables, you can just discard them, add this back, get back the Fablet, so it's +1 technically if you discard Kushano later on with dangers, and that's why I think you need to run 1 Kushano. That's it for the Fablets. For the dangers, 2 Nessie, best 1, searches. Second best 1, Jackalope, specials from the deck when discarded. And the third, Chitsunoko. These are the semi-limited, this special summons itself when discarded. And I play more. I want to play a lot of dangers, but I didn't want to max out on any of them. Mainly because if you draw multiples, then that increases your opponent's chances of hitting them, so you won't get the effects of. So I play 2 Chupacabra. The level 4 dangers are actually very important because this deck hard loses to Nibiru. There is no way to negate Nibiru unless you summon Appaloosa during your fifth summon, but this will decrease the power of the plays you can do because you will not be able to summon Link Rebo, you will not be able to summon any Nightmares. You'll have to have a good enough hand in order to be able to do all of these plays after summoning Appaloosa, which doesn't happen that often. So making Azathoth before you start fully committing to the board is more important. And for that same reason, Mothman is also really good. But again, not 3, because I don't want my opponent to snap them. Because snapping Mothman, I don't ever want to use Mothman's effect. Every time I've used Mothman's effect, it turned out worse for me because my opponent either drew a card they wanted or I drew a hand trap that could stop my plays. So I don't want to ever use Mothman's effect unless I really need to. And of course, snapping Chupacabra early doesn't give you any advantage because you don't have any dangers in the grave. 2 Bigfoot, decent effect when discarded, pop face-up card. Also, it's level 8, which I do run a card in the extra deck that helps me do something when I go first, because this deck is going second, but if my opponent catches up to how the deck plays, they will make you go first eventually. And 2 Thunderbird because it's also level 8 and it pops face downs when discarded. Now for the non-danger monsters, I play 3 Destrudo with Mermere. I think any hard-going second deck should play this engine. Yazi is too powerful not to run. It pops a card, it's untargetable against certain matchups, it can be stopped. Against matchups like Sky Strikers, they can Impermanence, they can Widow Anchor, they can Compulse, they can Lost Wind, they can do anything against it, so you get a free Maramara from your deck, and if Maramara resolves, then you're pretty much going to win because you get so much advantage with the tokens. For the normal summons of the deck, I play 1 Armageddon Knight and 1 Phantom Sky Blaster. The thing is about normal summons in such danger decks is that you will eventually draw them, so you don't want to play a lot of, because if you play a lot of, then they will just not be able, you will not be able to use them because you can only normal summon once. So playing a lot of normal summons contradicts to you wanting to discard the cards in your hand, so that's why you only need to run 2, and these are the best 2, because I play cards that he will help you either by send to the graveyard, you can send to Strudo, I play 2 more targets you can send with Armageddon Knight, and Phantom Sky Blaster is a blowout. If you can resolve it and get 3 tokens with it, then you're going to be able to link line into Borosor and Borloot. 1 Shadow Beast, it's the extra target I have to send with Armageddon Knight in case I already have access to the Strudo. It's a good card if you discard with Dangers, but it's once per turn, so you don't want to play more than 1. I don't want to play any Dark Worlds because I don't have room for them, but this card is the best one because either it's sent by the deck or by the hand to the grave, then you get a draw a card. And the last target is Zephyros. Again, a great card if you discard it. You can send it with Armageddon Knight. You can get back a Danger, so you can use it again. And it's a level 4, so you can go into Azathoth with it. And 1 Glow Bulb, because I wanted 1 more target to be able to be a good discard. And I also wanted it to be a level 1 to get Link Rebo, because getting access to your Nightmares is very important in this deck. Because in case your hand is full of Fabled and you don't have the Dangers to discard them, then the only other way to discard them is with the Nightmares, so you can try to dig into Dangers while also getting more monsters on your field. And of course, no other spells and traps in the deck, so I'm going to play Sekka's Light. This card is amazing in any deck that can run it without having any contradictions with the rest of the deck. It can shuffle back Mermere, which is actually really important because Mermere, if you eventually draw it because you draw so many cards in the deck, then you want a way to put it back into the deck. So you will be able to use the Strudo. So you don't want to use Sekka's Light's second effect until you have Mermere in your hand, or if you've already used Yazi. So that's why you want to keep it in the grave until then. And for the extra deck, of course, Yazi, broken card, generic level 7, untargetable, pops itself and another card on the field when destroyed, special summon member for the deck, and you get all the link plays. 1 Dragster, because again I wanted some cards that would optimize my going first plays, and with the Strudo, I can easily make this on top of an Appaloosa, and maybe this will be enough to stop my opponent's turn. At least make me survive so that I can possibly ATK next turn. Nyarla and Azathoth. I know that Nibiru is not as relevant as it was like 1 or 2 weeks ago, because people opted to play more controls or people have been playing around it, but just the danger of it existing makes me want to play these cards because I don't want to auto-lose to a single card, so I think it's really good. And it also can stop established boards if you're going second. If they don't have a way to deal with Nyarla before you Azathoth and they have a bunch of negates on the board, they won't be able to use any of them. They will not be able to use hand traps, which cards like Didicro or Ash Blossom are still very relevant, so it has more uses than just stopping Nibiru. 1 Xenophon, because I play the level 8 Dangers. Xenophon is a card that against certain decks is complete blowout, especially against Salamangreats. They won't be able to get back Spinny, they won't be able to get back Jaguar, they won't be able to use Wheel. It's really good against Orcust as well, because bringing back monsters with Simple Skeleton is actually important, and there are some other rogue matchups that could potentially get hurt, like it can also hurt Thunder Dragon if they're trying to get a monster buff from the grave with Hawk, but it's not 100% guaranteed that it will work against Thunder, so it's a bit mediocre against Thunder. Now for the links, Link Rebo. I think this is the most important link because it starts all your discard plays with the Dangers, because you have so many level 1s, Lure is a level 1, Glow Bulb is a level 1, Chawa is a level 1, you have so many ways to get to Link Rebo. You can also get to it with Mermere, so I think it's really good. And 1 Link Spider because, of course, you need to have something to go to the tokens. Play the Nightmares. Again, like I mentioned, these cards are more important in this deck than any other deck, because unlike Dark Worlds, Fableds, when discarded by cost, also activate. Dark Worlds do not, so Fableds are better in that aspect. So you can also play cards like Twin Twisters in your side deck that will help you minimize the minus of Twin Twisters while also getting the maximum value out of it. And this is why the Dangers work so well in this deck, along with the Nightmares, so you can discard so many monsters. Sometimes I was even like make boards of like Borosword, Borlord, and Apollosa, or maybe Avramax. So it's really easy to spam monsters on the field. As long as you keep drawing good cards, then you'll be able to keep going forever. One in Girsu, because sometimes you need that untargetable Send to the Grave, because might be some problematic cards that you can't deal with. There are untargetable monsters, and it's also really easy to go to it, and while also freeing your extra monster zone so you can make more plays. And with Linkuriboh and Link Spider, you don't have to even send itself to the grave. You can sometimes even send Mera to the grave or something else, and then just have a free 2500 on the field. Apollosa, like I mentioned, the deck does want to go second. This card can work both going first and going second. If you go first, you can easily summon it with 4 different monsters, so you can have 4 negates, and sometimes you can even summon a Phoenix under it to make it indestructible by battle, so your opponent will not be able to run it over once it gets low while it uses its effect. And also it's really good going second if you're afraid of Nibiru, and you have a good enough hand where you can keep playing after you summon Apollosa for the 5th summon, or you can summon her to make sure you don't get negated by anything your opponent has on the field or anything your opponent might have in the hand other than Nibiru. So again, I think it's the best Link 4 in the deck. Borosword is the second best Link 4 because this deck doesn't have ways to push by itself. Yes, you can have a bunch of monsters on the field. Most of them don't have that many attack points aside from the level 8 dangers, so you need a way to make a monster that can deal a lot of damage at once. Borlord, because Thunder Dragon is still a deck, as long as it's around. I think Borlord is really good. Thunder Dragons don't hurt this deck at all. The only card that searches is Grimbro and maybe Nessie if you get sniped, so that doesn't matter at all. And Borlord, once you steal your opponent's Colossus, then that's pretty much enough to sometimes win the game, because they won't be able to search and you won't be able to fight back with it. And one Avramax, because Avramax, against some decks, it's really hard to out, especially against Altergeist. They need to use Protocol to deal with it, but when they do deal with it, then you get to snipe, to spin back a card your opponent has, so they lose a card out of that as well. And other decks cannot deal with it at all. So it's a really good card. So, yep, this is a really fun deck, guys. It's one of the Hidden Arsenal decks that I haven't played for such a long time. I was just searching through my cards and I found it, and I really wanted to make a deck that could work, and I think I did it. You need to test this deck out and tell me how it works for you, because it has been working fantastically for me. It's more fun than Danger Dark World because you get so many monsters on the field. Dark World just gives you more cards in your hand, so you're just trying to either use an FTK or something, but this is not an FTK, it's a much more fun way to play, and it has so many different plays. The ceiling of the deck is pretty much, there's no ceiling in this deck. You can do whatever you want with it. Going first lowers the ceiling, but it can still do stuff going first, which I think makes for a great deck. It's either going first or going second. It has one thing that prefers, but it can do both, and this is, I think, what makes a really good deck. So, yep, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.